Bear in mind that pain is a very strange thing, and um, what you feel is greatly influenced by your brain. In fact, we know that the influence of the descending messages from your brain, from the higher centres, has a very, very profound influence on the actual pain that you feel. In fact, 60 times stronger than the strongest drug. So positive messages that you're giving to yourself, reinforced by understanding the simplicity of good science, is a really very important part of good spinal treatment. It's my belief that too much back treatment is willy-nilly hocus pocus, I'm afraid to say. You know, try a bit of this and try a bit of that and heat things up and cool things down and stretch muscles and strengthen muscles. Yes, that's all part of it, but really the core machinery is what's causing the pain, and we have to work on the core machinery, which is the shock absorber, which is the disc, and the facet joints, which are the hanging on bits to control spinal movement, segmental movement. So first things first is what I believe, and then work your way through it. Slowly, at your own rate, with you in charge. And that sense of you being in charge is an enormous fillip, enormous confidence booster, because all of you will have spent a fortune on your back. And as I've said earlier, heard as many different reasons and as many different diagnoses of what may be wrong as you've seen practitioners. So we want to bring an end to that. But, as I've been saying, the process of recovery isn't smooth, and you will have hiccups. You will have the odd day where you can't really put a cause to why your back might be more sore than it was the day before. It may be simply that you've done too much, or you've been tired, or you've sat in a draft, or you've had a row with your husband, or there are pressures at work, because they all have an influence on how tense you are, and that is the sort of hidden factor, literally, beneath the surface. So, giving you a regime which is specifically for spinal appeasing, underlined, is a very different set of exercises and a very different mindset to the exercises which are proactively therapeutic. And bear in mind that backs take a while to get better, I've said that, but they actually can't be hurried. And the pressure change therapy regime that I'm giving you is very, very potent. It may seem limited in its variety. I've said that already, but it's potent, and it's a case of the purest distillate of what will get you better. Rather than having a whole lot of other things that might be nearly as effective, I'd prefer to bring it down to the most effective and not bother with what I call the also-rans. You want stuff that's effective, and then you don't want to do anything else. But if you try and progress your recovery too rapidly, you'll get a hiccup. And I often find this with my patients who are very much doers and can-do people that feel that the more they do, the better they'll be. In fact, one of the things I love to tell my patients is that lazy people do better, because they don't overwhelm the ability of their back to cope. Because they do the barest minimum, they don't overwhelm with their back with the ability to cope with the changes. That tends to be what will give you a hiccup, that you overload it one way or another. So it's true to say that the more measured you are, the better you'll do. And it's also true to say that good treatment is all about rate. Just getting it right, having proactive therapeutic treatment phases with rest. So you're getting over the treatment with rest. You're not exercising all day. And this is why I say with the back block regime, only do it in the evening. Sprinkle your day with the odd toe touches or squatting, but don't keep going all the time to let the back recover. Now, if you do overwhelm your back, or if you have a long car trip, or for some reason you have a hiccup, then you have to stop the proactive stuff. You have to stop the back block because it's too much for the back. And you have to do this regime that I'm about to show you, which is spinal appeasing, which just calms everything. And a big part of what I'm trying to achieve with spinal appeasing is getting everything relaxed and calm again, getting those overactive muscles to switch off, because they are like a dog with its jaws around a bone. They're holding you back, and things will just keep on getting worse while your back is held so rigidly. So you actually have to stop. You have to stop your daily regime of pressure change therapy or back block, and you have to take time out, and you have, whether it's 3 or 4 days, whether you have to actually have medication again, which you get from your general practitioner, you have to stop, and you have to cope with the disappointment of stopping. Often disappointment is a real factor, but if you know that you're going to have hiccups, and you will, then you'll ride them out better, and you'll come out the other end of them. Now, what you'll find is that if you get over a hiccup yourself without coming to me or going back to your Sarakey practitioner, then you'll be much heartened by that. And when you notice that, when you bear in mind that you've brought this about yourself, so you're starting to be in charge, then that will be a tremendous confidence booster. And that, believe it or not, is one of the most effective strategies in therapy of all. So here we go.